Hey everyone, I know it's been a minute since I've done a CAD for CAM video. However, this is going to be a multi-part series where we're going to draw this actual CAD tool holder, then we're going to cam it, then we're going to make it, and then finally I'm going to show you how to use it to speed up setup in your shop. So let's jump into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I save my design. So this is going to be, in my case, for a CAD50. However, if you do have a CAD40 or maybe like a BT holder, you could adjust these dimensions to what you need. But the main part is you always want to save your file first and foremost. So now that I have that saved, let's go ahead and start to create our sketch. If you guys know me, I don't care what direction we sketch in. I'm just picking a plane. And I'm a big fan of rectangles, if you guys didn't know. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to create a couple of profiles for what I want. So as you're seeing here is I'm going to make my last rectangle here a construction line rectangle, and you'll see why. So once we get everything set up here, I went ahead and finished sketch too early. Let's go back to that actual model. But I'm going to drop one more thing, which is going to be a line. And then last and foremost, I do want to constrain this construction rectangle to that line. So now I know on my tool holder, and everybody is different, but I believe off the top of my head, mine is 7x24 taper. So that's the first dimensions I'm going to plug in. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this line here. Now I am going to scale this down. So I'm actually going to say 0.7 by 2.4. And the reason for that is if I would go 7 inches by 24 inches, it'd be wild. If I went, 7 meters by 24 meters, whatever, right? So by scaling that down, it makes it much easier to manage. Now, a few other dimensions I do know, and one mistake I did make is notice how I didn't make my outside big enough here. I'm going to just go ahead and drop one more rectangle to save this design. Again, you guys can do this any way that you feel necessary, but I do know the distance from this point to center line. Now on a CAD50, actually let's do CAD40 first. It's going to be 1.75 divided by 2. And now notice how my sketch got all messed up. It's all right, guys, we could fix that. Also notice how I dimensioned the wrong thing, or my line is on the wrong side. So let's get that drug down to where we want it. Now, another dimension I'm going to throw on here real quick before we dive further into this is I do know that my pull stud diameter is less than 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and throw 1 inch here. And now you can see how we could start to get this built out. So again, is I want my actual tool to sit against this when we actually get this designed out the rest of the way. I do need to adjust my overall length. So let's go ahead and bring that in here real quick. And then let's go ahead and move a few more things around. Notice how that construction line for my taper is now much smaller. And the reason for that is because everything is now scaled down based on what we're doing. So I do know the overall length of what we're working on is going to be 4 inches. And then let's go ahead and clean this up just a little bit more, bringing in our other dimensions and getting everything constrained. But as you can see, that 0.5 is going to be possibly way too big. And again, I made the mistake because I'm thinking in the world of going CAD50, which is a much larger pull stud. So you could adjust those dimensions to what you need. I'm actually going to scale this up now to 2.75. So it looks much more representative of what we want. Now, the last dimension I'm still missing here is I do need this OD dimension. Again, let's say I had a piece of 4-inch round stock laying around. I just did 2, 4 divided by 2, of course, guys. But now that we got our main profile here, the idea is all I'm going to do is finish this sketch. And I'm going to do a revolve. And I'm going to grab the profiles that I want to spin around. So I need to grab each individual profile here, which is these 3. Need to grab my center axis. And just like that, I have spun that profile with that taper and my relief down here at the bottom for my pull stud. Now, from here, as always, you're going to want to add different things like your chamfers and things of that nature. I would highly recommend on this design that you go ahead and put a fillet up here at the top. And the reason for that is if you start to look at your tool holders, we want that to sit against the actual tool holder when we use it. And we're going to have clearance between here and the flange on the tool holder. But that inside radius, again, your tool holders are made on a lathe, if you guys didn't know. They have a radius there, so you always want to be conscious of that. Last thing I'm going to do is, as always, I like to throw chamfers on things just so nobody cuts their hands. It's also much easier for me to chamfer a lathe part in the machine instead of doing it by hand. So let's go ahead and get our chamfers anywhere and everywhere. Last thing I might want to do is go back to that fillet so we can go down here in the timeline. I actually want to add in that second profile down there, giving us a nice smooth transition to where that pull stud sits. So as you guys can see, if I go ahead and pull a section view of this, again, I don't concern myself about which section view we pull, but as you can see, it is relatively simple and easy to create that cat tool holder sleeve. Again, you could do cat, BT, it's up to you guys how you do it. But the idea is my tool is going to sit in here, and then I'm going to always have a consistent dimension from the flange face out to my tool. Again, you may need to adjust some of these dimensions. For example, I need this a little bit longer because I have a longer pull stud. I can come in here and modify this at any time. Again, opening that up to what I want to be able to clear that actual part and make this as much efficiency as possible. Now, check out part 2 that is being released later today. That is going to show you how to actually do the cam on this. And then within the next coming months, I'm going to get on a machine. We're going to turn this profile. We're also going to go in and we're going to actually show you how to use it on the actual machine. So as always, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You guys know Phil Brown over here at CAD4CAM, and we're here to support you in all of your needs. With that said, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.